Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner. We're here tonight to talk limitless wrestlings, the price you pay. I'm going to go give Disable Wolf a call as we are going to get things started here at the VSW podcast. Here we go. Phone is ringing.
Disable fee.
Welcome here on the VSW podcast. We're here now, just opening things up, talking limitless wrestlings, the price you pay. We finally made it up there. We finally made it to Maine. We finally got up after all the months of car trouble issues, all the other problems that have taken place. We've overcome it all. We got there to the last show that's going to take place in Maine for the year. And what a show it was.
What a show it was indeed, Versace.
My God, does Randy Carver Jr. always deliver? He just really does. That's one thing you can bank on Limitless always being a great show. And they always bring in somebody new, a few people new or old to the scene. Names, we can say they always bring in some names,
I know.
even though they have names. That's why I say like they bring in other names because they have their own names, but
I
they'll bring in
noticed
other names.
Versace. Randy tries to unofficially do a rotation with guys like the Dan Hausens, the Ali Catches, the Matt Tavens in the world. I think he
It,
tries to rotate between an Impact and Ring of Honor, two people on the show.
Does. He really does. I mean, if you remember the show beforehand, before the pandemic, we were gonna see Chris Stat versus Anthony Green. We were gonna see that, Matt Cross match. And now since then we have seen him back in Limitless. But yes, you're right. They do rotate these war horses. Dan Hausens, Matt Taverns, all these great superstars. Eddie Edwards, another one. And we continue to see that here in what I thought was going to be the main event of the evening, but it was a great matchup. Don't get me wrong. And in one of the other my favorite matches that opened up the second half. But let's open up the show and let's talk a little bit about it. It opened right up to some of our friends. I think the prestigious. They
The
came waltzing
prestigious
out.
Versace.
They came waltzing out. They were two men down. Channing Thomas, nowhere to be found. And obviously, John Alba, banned from Limitless Wrestling until January.
The good counterpart actually might check out our podcast, Versace.
Wouldn't that be good if we could get Mr. John Van Vliet, I mean, Chris Van Vliet, to
Oh,
listen to my podcast? And but I have to say, how prestigious were they without John Alba? Now,
well, I'll be quite
they
honest. When there was a surprise teams going into it, we thought maybe it'd be Slaughterhouse and Mortar, but Mortar was one of the helpers with the students. We thought it might have been another tag team too, but in reality, once you heard that Whitney Houston classic, oh, I want to dance with somebody, everyone was on their feet for Waves and Curls Versace.
yeah, Waves and Curls is the team to be. I love their dancing style, their fast
In their
acrobatic moves,
Monster Inc.
powerhouse.
attire gear.
If you remember over the pandemic at one point, we actually sponsored their match when they won the NCW tag team titles for a
From
little
T
bit.
Talks.
They did, and that was a great matchup. And we saw them on AEW. We've
We saw
seen
them
them.
in Boston on Elevation too.
Yep, we were gonna see them at Limitless, and I believe that was one of the shows that we missed
Yeah.
due to some car issue. But then,
What?
we finally got to see them in live, in action, and it was great. I have to say, I was very impressed. Not only are they very fast and agile, but they have power behind them.
Absolutely. One of my favorite moves, like they really outperformed Prestigious without Thomas and Alba, right, Versace? There are a lot of like moves, a lot of dancing moves when they're very athletic. They use their dance moves into like their body slams and Irish whips and the turnbuckles. But Prestigious tried to capitalize. I feel like Mac Daniels was doing most of the work while BRG was trying to cheap shot the whole time.
Now, do you think Big, like, I don't know, having like one of his trainers in the locker room, having one of his trainers on the show, you think that affected BRG's mentality going into the match? You think maybe it kind of sidetracked him and distracted him?
Yeah, well,
Just
here's the thing. He started to insult people, talking about he's looking for a sweet victory. I pointed at one of my Bruins hats, Versace. I don't know if anyone know, but he attacked my Bruins hat in NCW.
he did throw your hat to the ground.
And I was saying, come get me. He was trying to ignore me the whole time. That's because I was focused, Versace.
You were. And I have to say, um, I have to say a few things. This, going into the show about going into the show.
Sure.
Unlike going unlike the summertime, I do have to say the crowd. While the crowd wasn't smaller, it got there later. If that makes sense. Like when we we,
Absolutely.
we got there a little early, of course. We always try to, but I felt like we were there extra early as we were sitting in the car for hours. Um, Even that being said, we were in line and we still got our normally the seats that we kind of normal like. That second row, second or third seat in from
Like,
the entrance.
it's so weird. I've sat in all corners of Limitless since we've been going since July, Versace. I feel like that row behind in front of the entrance. I don't know why, but the vibe just feels so. It's not about MSP, but the vibe feels so great when we
It
sit there.
does. I mean, I love front row,
Like
of
a sweet
course.
spot.
I love front row, of course, and like where our friends chef was sitting was like almost perfect. You're right near the entrance. I do like capturing entrances on video, and I think it just gives a good angle. But if we don't get front row, where we sat is, I feel like you're right. It is the most comfortable. It feels at home. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear the commentary, which is pretty cool. You can also see what's going on from both sides of the arena because there is action that takes place sometimes on the other side. People can come in and out of that door, and we've seen surprise entrance. We've seen all sorts of things. Plus, we can see from our side, so it works out great. As you know, we love to collect footage, photos, all of that fun stuff, and we got in there. And like I said, with the time being early and us happening like we whatever, we were in line a little bit longer, we still got our regular seat. Now, as the show filled up and as the time got closer, it did fill out nicely and it was full house. I think everybody came a little later due to it being a Friday rather than the Saturday. Norm?
Yeah. But I was fine with it, believe it or not, on a Friday. It's not something I'd want every single month, but in the wintertime, I actually didn't mind it being on a Friday. Because if it
No,
was
we
a
were very
Friday night in
lucky
the
with the
summer, we'd
traffic.
sit in so much traffic.
We were very lucky with the traffic. I feel like if it was summertime Friday or something and people were going away, we might have sat a little bit longer. But we were very lucky with that. Our ride was very smooth. And like I said, we got there. And like I said, the opening contest right off the bat was that Prestige Open Challenge. And they fell short. They fell short to Waves and Curls. And
As
like
you
I
can
said, I
see,
don't know
my
if BRG was
footage I
just
took,
off
you
his
saw
game.
them trying to dance with BRG and slamming them at the same time.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Was B like I said, was BRG just distracted? Is he not the strong point of the prestige. Maybe Channing Thomas is. Also,
I
I saw they actually posted. It was like yesterday, today, around this time. They posted like it's been 1 year since the birth of the Prestige. Now that was before Mac Daniels and John Albert formed the trio.
because well, here's the thing: as the Prestige with BRG and Jan Thomas, they're always in like every promotion together, even though they didn't always team up. They went to the same top rope school. They're in NCW. I feel like they're really close friends. You know.
Well, yes, I mean they came. I think they came up together. You're right. Whether you're in whatever the promotion might be, they do seem to work it. Top rope, NCW. They've been friends. They've been enemies. They've fought each other. And in Limitless, they're very close. And like you said, you add Mac Daniels in there, you add in John Alba, which by the way, I ran a poll because he was so upset. He got very upset. Um, Believe it or not, in our last podcast when
Chad Epic.
we talked about John Alba and I mentioned managers and there's only a very few managers left and we said Sidney Bacabella and I said the last great manager left. That's what he says he is. Chad Epic. And yes, Chad Epic, in my opinion, is a better manager than John Albert, and I can tell you why. I mean, first of all, look who Chad Epic has managed. He's managed the Middlesex Express. Now, granted, BRG, Channing Thomas, Mac Daniels, they're great, but but Middlesex Express is a legendary tag team in New England, and they have gold. They've captured gold plenty of times across New England, proving ground all over the place. What gold
Absolutely.
has prestigious captured yet? Nothing. Not that they can in
Well,
Limitless.
here's the thing, Versace with BRG always acts like a naughty child. They may capture Cole if Love Doug can report it to Santa Claus. You know,
They might capture that. That is true.
especially
But any which
John.
way, I ran it. John Albert was very upset that I mentioned Chad Epic being a better manager. So I
You didn't actually say that too, which is hilarious.
well, so I ran a poll.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the better manager? Chad Epic, John Albert. 105 people chimed in on this poll through YouTube, and it was 72% for Chad Epic and 28% for John Albert. So, I mean, at least 105 people agree that Chad Epic is a better
Yeah,
manager than John Albert. Or close to at least, not 105, 100 people, 5 people voted. 72% of those people at least agree with that.
dun, 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 dun,
I mean,
dun,
if I
dun,
do the math here,
dun.
75 and a half people basically are believing it. So,
Yes, be careful, Versace, because December 25th, it's Christ's birthday, but a week later, John Alba is eligible to come back to Limitless. Let the Albarection commence.
he should worry about Davian when he gets back, because I'm sure she's not done with him yet.
Who knows? But Prestigious looks very lost without him. That's for sure.
They do. I said
It's
it was a
kind of
little. There
like
was a
I
little.
can't
It was a
blame
little.
them because here's the thing, Versace. I know you're not familiar with this. It's like I had a playoff game in my fantasy football league, and Derrick Henry's been out. One of the Lions running backs hurt. One of the Pats running backs on the bye, Stevenson. I had to pick up two running backs. Barely got anyway. I was thinned out, and it's kind of like how prestigious is when they don't have their whole team healthy with them. You know.
Well, yeah, but I also think it boils down to, Mac Daniels and BRG don't really have the coordination and chemistry that BRG and Channing have,
Oh,
or that
absolutely.
or that Mac would have with anybody with John Albert in the corner. John Albert kind of steers Mac Daniels in the right direction. I think he's kind of just loose by himself. He doesn't really know where to go, and this
All he
costed him the
did was
match.
showboat at towards the end.
And that's part of the problem. There's no focus, and obviously the better team, in my opinion, won in this. Waves and Curls, a top-notch tag team. They will make big waves in New England, in AEW, and wherever they end up. Right now, I think, if we get into Limitless and Limitless opens up a tag team title, they're definitely going to be one of the top tag teams. You're going to have them, Workhorsemen, MSP, competition. I don't know who, but they're definitely in there, Waves and Curls.
The second half of the show really showcased a lot of those tag teams.
A dream match for me, disabled, would be Waves and Curls versus the main event.
That'd be amazing.
I would love to see that match. I think it would be amazing. But let's move on to the next match, shall we?
Absolutely, Versace. Let's move on to the next match. That was the third match. Looking at my card now. I know one of the matches was Davian and Becca. I forget if it was a second or third. Looking through now, Versace. All right. The next match is a match that was actually in the making. I'm surprised it didn't have a bigger ass feud. It kind of did. The introduction was very heaty. You had the alternative former two-time Limitless World Champion Anthony Green against the root of all evil, Charles Mason.
I was surprised that they opened this so early on in the card.
I kind of wish it was one of the matches that took place after the intermission.
Maybe, perhaps. AG, though, world class superstar. Love this guy. Actually, just saw a proving ground being released figure of him. We're gonna have to get a hold of that one.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the
We'll
Hasbro's.
see him around all the time.
Todd does great work on his figures
He also
as it
helped
is.
film Randy's show this
He
past
did. We
Friday.
saw him there. We saw Derek Simon, and he's over at Limitless Wrestling. He was filming, and it's always a pleasure to see him. Whether it's there or running his own shows at Proving Ground, helping out RWA, NCW, and all the other promotions that he helps out in New England. Definitely check out Proving Ground. We've covered some of their shows. We've been to their shows. We've sponsored their shows. It's a great, fun promotion. A lot of great guys over there. Uh, you can sometimes, like I said, it's a lot of great fun. But it's always great seeing faces when we go places. We saw a lot of faces, I feel like, at this event. Yes, we saw Mordor in the crowd. Armani Chaos was over there.
Gail Barkley.
I saw Connor Murphy.
Me too.
He was healing up. And I saw what
You
could
want me to
soon.
say it? Wait for it. Wait
Well,
for. Want
yeah,
me to?
go for it. Go for it.
All right. Live.
We did see Love Doug. He was there supporting the fans. And there was somebody else in the crowd, and we will talk about him later. You kind of predicted it in our preview show, but we will go into that later. So
Oh, we're gonna go into it in the fourth match. So,
you
and
had
we'll
a
talk a lot about it next time we're on live too. So,
oh yes, you had AG coming out to the root of all evil. Now this is a very interesting matchup. Because I haven't seen it really. It's not your tip. It's not one of these matches that have happened over and over in New England. Also, the styles. Mason is a very sadistic, hardcore kind of guy.
Kind of
AG.
like tries to make you suffer. He has this weird mix of not only he's not a like a tech, he's a hybrid of like a technician and a grappler, which tries to like seduce people when he wrestles.
He very much so, and then you have Anthony Green, who's very can be very technical, high flying. He can do it almost all. Some things to notice though is well, first of all, he did say that he is Everett's favorite tag team
And
partner.
we got a lot of action before the bell rang for a good few minutes.
We really did. That's opened things up really, and there was no love lost between these two, AG and
He made Rich say Ava Everett's favorite tag team partner.
and like I said, these two. It was the first time me watching them wrestle each other, and I thought it was a very entertaining match, in my opinion.
Absolutely, there were a lot of there were a lot of slaps. There are a lot of Irish whips in this. There were a lot of what Mason really does. You see this a lot when you play 2K video games for WWE. He really tries to target the limbs before he does a lot of technical moves, and he was trying so hard to drain Anthony Green's move. But there are a lot of fast-paced punches right before the bell rang when Anthony Green ran right after Charles Mason when Rich Palladino announced that.
Oh yeah, Rich got right out the way very fast, and it all started. It was crazy, pandemonium. But overall, very good match, and it leads into a story because we saw we got to see what it led up to. We missed, like I said, some of the shows, so
And it
we
really bums me out to be honest with you, but
of course, I mean, some of them we were very close. Some of them we were just miles away, believe it or not. And things had happened. So, like I said, we've had some ups and downs this year, especially like I said, with the travel situation these last few months. But with
I hate to
that,
bring this up, but we'll talk more into that about all these guys pretty soon on this podcast. But I feel their pain. I know they had four of guys in Limitless are very close with each other outside of the ring, and it's Alec Price, MSP, AC Romero. I saw their social media posts. They were supposed to go to Jersey for, I think, a pro wrestling magic show, and their car broke down. One of the steering wheels came off. So I really felt their pain, you know?
it happened. It happens. One of um one of the wrestlers that we were supposed to have on our own show actually car broke down day of show, and luckily our show was canceled out. But
Oh, thank
we
God.
would have lost, already one match down because somebody's car broke. Cars break down, and unfortunately, it can be devastating if you don't have any way out. I'll never forget, even last time we went to NCW, it wasn't a smooth ending. We were supposed to go pick up the dock, and our car broke down. And we ended up having to Uber into Dedham just to get to the show.
Oh, yeah, I remember that Versace.
So, I mean, there's all sorts of issues, but it's a great matchup. And then at the end,
What happened was, guess who helped Anthony Green win? And he had this short-lived one-hit wonder babyface turn, the greatest referee of all in Maine and all time. Greenleaf, baby.
you're a real big fan of Eric Greenleaf, aren't you?
Yes, I am Versace.
Every time they mentioned his name, Rich mentioned it. I heard you cheering when everybody else booed. Tell me,
Yeah,
why do you like him? What's so good about him?
I like him because he's a clown Versace. You
I'm
know me
glad.
with Love Doug Alba, all the Chase Gold.
I'm glad that he's back though, and that his injuries have been healed. He was out for a little bit. Refing ain't
And he looks
easy.
so, he doesn't say very much of anything either.
Refing ain't easy.
No, it ain't.
And Charles Mason then kind of went a little crazy, did he not?
Yeah, he tried to choke Rich. Rich almost got injured really bad. And guess who came in? Oh, hail the almighty Beef the Freak.
And the place erupted. There was, like I said, we missed some shows, so there was a storyline with Beef and
He lost to Charles Mason, and
Mason.
but before that match, Charles Mason burned one of his pictures of his recently deceased family dog.
The disrespect that Charles Mason's shown Beef is just incredible, and this feud has gone
He's just a real
very
life
deep.
horror movie character as a wrestler. He dresses like he's going to some wedding all
He's
the
the root
time.
of all evil, Disable. I mean, he just is. And
And,
you know what? He's about to meet his match with Beef. They're gonna be fighting very soon
and a dog collar match.
on January 1st at Festival.
Is it wrestleable or is it going to be in their January show in Yarmouth?
Good question. No, I thought he said Festival. Maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, but like speaking of, I am gonna definitely should be able to go to that Wrestleville that night. Can't promise anything about the January because with weather and everything, it'll be harder to get up there. But after that, we're gonna go to at least every Yarmouth show possible.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll give it a go for the January show. If weather interferes, I mean we'll have to postpone it. But who knows? We might have a mild winter and we shouldn't have no issues. And Festival should be a great event. It's a 3 day almost extravaganza of pro wrestling hosted by IWTV down in Worcester, Massachusetts, the White Eagle, hosted by Drew Cordero and Beyond Wrestling. They'll be part of the show. H2O Wrestling will be there. There's a
What's
few
a
other companies, and of course, closing things out on January 1st will be Limitless Wrestling.
Everyone's
And
gonna be shocked that I say this. 9 o'clock New Year's Day. I'm really happy they're in that time slot because I got a prior family event that got postponed for 2 years because of COVID on New Year's Eve, so I won't be able to go to Heavy Lies the Crown or many of those shows. But I'm definitely gonna be able to do Limitless. It's very
well, that
convenient.
is great. We will have a great time that night. I know it's going to be a great show. They've already started to show matches, so I don't know if it was Festival, honestly, or it was a January show. But they will be fighting each other in that dog collar match, and that's gonna settle the feud. We've seen him fight Rip in a he fought Rip in a collar match, did he not?
It
Or a
was a
strap
strap.
match? No, strap match, and that was brutal. So I can only imagine what a dog collar match is gonna be like with Rip Bison.
I
I mean,
really,
with Almighty Beef. Sorry,
I
I
really
got Ripper on
that
my head.
right is after the intermission. I hope it's like second to last match of the night.
And you know, um, it was interesting though.
Absolutely. Are you ready to move on, Versace?
I am ready to move on.
This third match has become since 2020 two flagship female wrestlers. If you count, they wrestled once in the pandemic pay per view, and with Becca getting the win, and they wrestled again in Rip's promotion Pro Wrestling Grind where Davey got the win. So they're even at one. You got the leader of the Scrunchy Squad, Becca, versus not America's sweetheart, Davey Ann.
It's always fun seeing Davey in Limitless. It's not your typical Davey that gets all the dollar bills like you see in Chaotic, but neither is it, the one that gets all the booze like in Top Rope. Davey in Limitless is a very prideful wrestler. The fans
Ab-
stand very much behind her. She's not only just an asset as a singles talent, her tag team talent has been incredible in the year and in the pandemic. We saw her team up with Becker, part of the Scrunchies, when they faced Everett during a tag matchup earlier in the year with the mystery partner. If you recall, on the road, I believe, or one of the pay per views. We
Yes, I
also saw her tag up and inter fight. We saw her overcome the prestigious when
oh, I
John Alba wanted to make Davey prestigious again, and if he had won,
and,
she would have been his little bitch, and if she won, he was out. Team
and
Davey
I
did win.
and John Alba was crying out of Yarmouth.
Becca was part of Team Davey. Okay, so you got to remember she helped with that victory, but they friendship fell apart in one of the shows that we didn't get to go to,
It was
and
because it was during Brad Cashel. We'll talk about him a little later on the show. His 31-second challenge because Harmon and he Becca was supposed to I think face Cashew, but Cashew lost because Davey was trying to look out for her, and Becca got upset because she didn't want Davey to be with her during their matches, I believe.
yeah, for sure. But I think these women have a lot of mutual respect for each other, to say both. Even though, like I said, like they've been friends, they've been enemies. But I think when it comes down to the core of it, they have a very much a lot of respect.
Absolutely, and it all started out with this slow paced technical
Well,
match,
it was much more
it,
technical of a match than I ever could imagine. It really was. I thought it was going to be either like a slugfest or some kind of, like jumping, high flying thing. It was not. It was a wrestling match.
it was like there was a lot of test of strength set for like 5 minutes in the show between touching with the hands and stretching out, trying to get a headlock in the start. Like these two know each other so well, and the chemistry is unbelievable.
Well, they do. Like I said, with them tagging and wrestling each other and just being in the same kind of vicinity. And like I said, I think that they do put on the chemistry is great. And like I said, like it was a really technical match. I felt like it sometimes during it I was watching a Bret Hart match, believe it or not. Like
I honestly, that's how I felt the vibe between like Brian Danielson and CM Punk's early Ring of Honor days, where there was a lot of technical grappling.
and it was very surprising, but it was very good to see. I always like I said, I like to see wrestlers in different lights doing different things. It wasn't your typical powerhouse Davey. It wasn't your typical high flying Becca. Now, yes, those moves were made and things were done, but it wasn't, it was very technical. And, I remember you mentioning it a few times during it how technical it was.
Yeah, I was really amazed because we all thought we were going to get the power of high flying and agility of Becca versus the powerhouse and the slams of Davey Ann, you know?
But overall, it was a great matchup between these two. They really just, continue to impress. Davey, an incredible wrestler, always has been for a while now.
And she's been carrying not only just the female division, but the whole men's division in Chaotic as she became their first ever female Chaotic heavyweight champion.
Oh, she has, and and then you got Becca doing almost the same. First NCW Women's Champion, chaotic. She beat Davey. She beat Ava to become the Women's Champion, and then it became the first Transpan Optic Champion. They're all making history in different in promotions, and they're doing it. And this was just another great New England matchup to really showcase the female talent that we have here in this part of the country.
And maybe there's a little foreshadowing. The crowd was kind of very upset that Davian got up when Becca was trying to hit her signature moonsault to win, but she didn't get to hit the moonsault. But instead, Becca did win this match by making Davian tap out with the headlock of kind of like a crossfoot face hybrid to win.
She did, and Davy tapped, and Becca picked up the victory.
We all thought one of them was going to turn on each other after the end, but they hugged it out.
They did
And
hug it
that
out like
fact
they
that
should,
minutes ago.
because at the end of the day, they're both great competitors. There's no need for them to battle. They both helped each other get rid of John Alba. As you remember, the prestigious viciously attacked Becca.
Mhm. They do his cheap shot. They'll probably try to do the same to one of us someday, Versace. John
Oh, they
Alba's
will.
probably up to no good, and what we talk about next, it could play in with what could happen with Prestigious in the future. I just have that feeling.
Oh yeah, it really can.
And are you ready to move on, Versace?
I am.
So we have a tag team match that was scheduled for one fall between
What
the
for?
haha. We have the team of the Iron Beast, Shane Mercer and KTB versus the newly. You can't really say it's a new tag team because if you followed New England indie scene like us, it's anything but a new team. But they were never shown in Maine together. You had the unit of the Savior, JT Dunn, and Big Boy Season, AC Baby, Ace Romero, turning on his hometown, formerly home known hometown hero, used to be the heart and soul of Limitless Wrestling, but not anymore, Versace.
Not anymore. Sacco's favorite son is not favorited that much.
And I love this new AC man. Like,
His
got some.
attitude is fantastic. His theme song is fantastic. His new theme song.
We're not from Maine, so we weren't emotionally attached to him. Kind of like when one of your favorite when Hulk Hogan turned heel in
I
WC.
like heels, okay? I like when my favorite wrestlers turn heel. And to be honest, I think AC as a heel just works. Okay? What's he being nice for? What's he gonna get? Is he gonna get a title shot against his Alec Price? What's he gonna get? Is
And
he gonna
that's one of
get
the reasons why I made him turn, because we turned out to find out and this was shocking to hear. He's never had a one-on-one match for the Limitless World Title. It's always multi-man or triple threats for it.
that's what I'm saying, I mean, what's he gonna do again? And he's been used in Limitless. He's been an original person. And what do you have to show for it? Do you have any gold around his belt that says Limitless? No. Those
Well,
people are
you
MJF.
would think he'd be bound for glory.
Those people are MJF. Those people are Christian Casanova, Anthony Green, Daniel Garcia. People like Alec Price, not AC Romero.
Like, this was one of my favorite matches of the whole night, Versace.
He did good in I mean, I thought he did good in Impact, but his real home I think is Limitless and Chaotic too now. Chaotic, I've been really watching him a lot. He's been killing it over there, but he's been killing it in Limitless too. He had some real good matches. Eddie Edwards,
That was
great
one of
match. The
my
match
favorite
when he opened the show up when Limitless first came back from the pandemic.
against JT Dunn.
Exactly, and that's what's funny about it all. Because by that point, I want to say by that point they might have already been tagging in Chaotic. Not 100% sure, I don't remember. But somewhere down the line, AC
Because
decides to.
AC wasn't really too much in Reloaded for Chaotic in the pandemic.
No, but
Neither
afterwards,
was
and
JT Dunn.
somewhere down the line, AC took the pledge.
Absolutely. And I think it was Chaotic's first event back with fans when he did
Yes.
that turn face Del Monte.
Yep.
Speaking of, that was another guy we saw in the crowd. And I was chanting his name when JT Dunn came in the ring. Because if you guys follow New England, you'd have to follow Chaotic. There's the biggest match of potentially all 2021 is next week. And we're going to talk a lot about it within the next day or two, within the next 24 to 72 hours. A lot of our focus will be on this match between, not only is it just a match for JT Dunn, it's control of chaotic on the line and potentially Chase Del Monte and many other wrestlers' careers on the line when they
Oh, I
face
mean
each other.
the whole landscape of New England pro wrestling could change very soon. But so you had this great tag team coming in, and like I said right from the beginning, I loved what the unit was able to do. First of all, AC's amazing, both on the mic and in the ring. I mean, he always been very agile and just full strong style wrestler, but the mic skills, the way he insults people, the way he told people to shut the fuck up, the way he just told people they were pieces of shit. You know,
I the
he was
second
speak.
of
You could
that, I
tell
was
he was speaking from the heart. You could tell, he was insulting. I think his parents were in the crowd. Alex's parents are in the crowd. His friends' parents are in the crowd. And he's telling them they're pieces of shit. It's funny.
it is very funny. But this match had a lot of doomsday devices. There were a lot of slams outside of the ring. Like there was
Oh, I
amazing,
believe it. I believe it was a very one-sided match. Um,
but they almost got the best of JT Dunn. They spin and slammed them around.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I saw Mercer. He put AC on his shoulders.
Oh, I know, and he almost carried him
Okay,
to get the pile.
that's not easy to do.
Not at all.
That's not easy to do at all. So, I mean, it happened. But at the end of the day, it's a dominant force, and that is what the unit is. They work and operate singly, like a single unit. Whether it's those two or they got their other members, Danny Miles and Trigger OG, Mike
And
Verna,
Mike Ver,
and who knows who else will end up joining. They dominated this match.
he really did. It was an amazing match. One of my favorite matches of the whole night.
Oh, it was actually actually, yes, it was. If it wasn't it was my favorite match. You know, like I said, I just loved the whole atmosphere of the unit. JT Dunn, honestly, truth be told, when pandemic started ended, I really didn't know how I felt about JT Dunn. We saw him in a few promotions, and I didn't know if he was going to be one of those guys where I'd get sick of seeing everywhere, or that would excite me to see everywhere.
Now I'm getting super excited to see him
I
every
saw
show.
him say he was going to take on more challenges and be in more places and go after more gold. And so far, he's done everything he said he was going to do. And he is one of those people that I'm more excited to see. I can't wait to see what JT Dunn
He
can
could
do.
be part promoter too next time we see him
He could
next
be.
year.
There's going to be a lot on the line with that match against him and Chase. But with, just it's what is JT going to do next? Who's he going to attack? He antagonized and attacked Alec Price. He's done crazy things all through New England. He's a Ted Goods at New England All Stars that time.
Oh, I know. He hacked the toy store, didn't he?
He did something. No, not the Toy Story. He attacked him. We were at the show, remember? After he beat Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. He attacked him from behind, saying he wanted that newly formed heavyweight title.
Yep. So
But out after AC called it, insulted the whole crowd of Vane and his family, his best friends, calling them pieces of shit, saying it's big boy season, loving the new theme song. Out and he called out Alec Price how it makes him sick that he's a champ.
well, they used to be tight. They used to be friends. They used to be boys.
They have the greatest chemistry when they face each other during one of the episodes on the road. That match was unbelievable. All the chops Alec took to
Oh
AC.
yeah. I mean,
Speaking of Alec Price was came and attacked him from behind. The crowd went crazy. Then when the unit was pummeling him, AG came out, and this isn't going to be in WrestleMania. This is going to be in the January Yarmouth show. There's going to be a tag match between Price and Green versus the unit AC and JT Dunn. I can't wait for that match, Versace.
I can't either, and that's why I'm saying we got to check out this January show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know you're a little nervous about the weather, but there's always the possibility that maybe we stay in a hotel if it snows the night of, or who knows, we might have a mild winter. I know my car is all-wheel drive, and I believe you have the same make and model as mine, so that would be the same. We will get and go anywhere we can get to. Believe me, as long as the roads are open. But yes, that show is shaping up. It's going to be an interesting tag match, and if you actually were listening to the fans during that match, a lot of them were telling Alec Price not to trust Green. Don't trust Green. Don't trust Green.
I think he's going to turn heel. He's due for it.
He is.
He
He
had his
is.
holiday toy drive.
Which you were like one number away from winning a Chase figure, dude.
Yeah, I was happy for the guy that won it, but I
I
was
wasn't. I
really
was
so
happy. I
close.
would have been happier if you won it.
Oh, of course.
We
It's
figure
a
Hunt a
dream
lot,
to
but
get a chance to
no, it's always
AEW.
at least somebody won it. But you know what's really made me happy? I don't care about that. Like I said, I'd rather us win it. What really made me happy is to see that all those tickets were sold and all that money is going to the kids. All those toys were brought in.
Nothing
And
would
Anthony
make me
Green did
happier
another
than
wonderful
seeing
thing
every
for
kid around the
everybody.
world get what they want for Christmas. So
Anthony Green does wonderful things for people. Not just in the industry, outside of the industry. He's a very good guy.
always stays till the end of the show he's in. He never leaves early.
Nope.
Like even when his match is over.
Nope. He'll help you, and he'll help the locker room. He's a great asset.
Like I understand it's not easy, but we dealt with it when we were forced to take over this show in Tiverton. Like I don't understand. I look at it differently because I'm not just a wrestler. I want to stay from start to finish when I go to shows. I never want to be the first one to so I can get home. I understand if you have a long drive, but why take that booking if it's far, you know?
I mean, true. If it's that far and it's that much that you have to leave, why take it? The money
Yeah,
can't
but
be
it
that
kind of
good.
leads to our next match, which I thought would have been a lot better if it were the main event like we thought it would be.
But Alec
But the
Price
thing is,
was
but
already
like we
out there.
just talked about, that probably had a lot to do with it, you know?
Maybe, but maybe not, because you got to remember he was out in intermission.
Absolutely.
But yes, Alec Price was already out, and he was facing Chris Bay. Now, I thought this
Part of
was
the
supposed to
Bullet
be.
Club.
I thought this was supposed to be a non-title match.
I thought so too, but Rich announced it as a title match.
Alec did not look happy. Chris did. Chris was
Yeah.
super psyched.
This was a very high flying athleticism type of match, which was awesome.
Well, I mean, Chris Bay is an unbelievable impact superstar. He's one of the best in the business. I don't care what people say. He held Golden Impact when he first got over there for a little bit. Lost it. He should gain more. He should be in AEW. I saw him in another suburban fight. He did a tremendous match in a bar room against Cross. It's like the
Matt
kind of
Cross.
match that it's the kind of match that like Matt Cross, yes. It's the kind of match that like Tough Daddy would dream his promotion could do, but never
Oh,
will.
don't get me started with that delusional fool.
Fighting a bar in front of, hundreds of fans, no ring, and just put on a killer match with
Maybe
two
he can get
tremendous wrestlers. Chris
create
Bay,
people from clay and he can do it in his own head, Versace.
but it'll still never be what Chris Bay and Matt Cross were able to pull off in that, Vegas bar. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Chris Bay, since I saw that match, and he's been on my radar. He's been one of my favorite stars. He's been somebody I've checked on Impact. I've bought from. I bought autographs from during the pandemic. I believe I have some T-shirts as well.
And
Um,
someone's always in my radar when they're associated with those two initials BC. Every time I'm always fascinated when I hear the words Bullet Club. That's what got me into outside the mainstream corporate wrestling is the Bullet Club.
was that really like the kind of faction to break you out?
Yeah. I loved the in New Japan when it was hard for me. I didn't watch it live. I would watch random matches in Ring of Honor too. That was before AEW was a thing. I think it was right around Limitless just started. I really wish I could go back in time and go to one of the first few years of Limitless.
The MJF he is, and
If Alba doesn't like us, imagine MJF getting to know us.
he would have never got you. He would have hated you before he even met you. But
I know that, Versace.
this was a great matchup. I was very excited for this match. But I also do think it should have been the main event of the evening. Not that the main event of the evening wasn't good. And
I
that could have
enjoyed
been a
it.
main event too. I was just kind of surprised being the title was on the line. And, it was kind of he's a name. You brought in a name. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not gonna see
A lot
Chris
of these
Bay.
names want to be the earliest as possible, I've noticed.
Who?
Just saying, when you book a huge name for your show, a lot of them want to be one of the very first matches and
Oh,
leave.
it happens. I mean, we ran into that with a few of our people wanting it. To leave early and whatever. Granted, though, it happens, and there's not much you can do. But it was a very entertaining match. Okay, and Chris Bates came very close to capturing Limitless Gold. I'll give it to him.
He
You
had a
know,
lot of those amazing, like high athletic scissor kicks on Alec Price, and they were using their high arsenal of leg moves, including the Prize OG Buster kick.
it really yes, and these guys, like I said, they're both just tremendous athletes, very high flying, full of ambition, full of life, just full of everything. It was, a tremendous battle, but at the end, Alec Price retained that gold. And he tells you and shows you why he is the Limitless World Champion. There is
He's
a
been a
lot of
champion. He's trying to defend it in non-limitless promotions too, Versace.
there is a lot about There's a lot of there's just something about that title. Everybody that's won it has made it somewhere. Everybody that's won it is making it somewhere in the world right now. In the wrestling scene, and so Alec Price has proven why he should be that champion.
In that WrestleVille, he's going to face the blue collar badass JD Drake for the title.
That's gonna be an insane match.
Because
You know,
as long as Daniel Garcia was champ, JD Drake couldn't get a shot at that title. But that's all
he
changed now
couldn't
that he's
win the
gone.
title. He got two shots at the title. What are you talking about? He
I
just
mean,
couldn't
like
win
if
the
he
title.
lost the second time, he wouldn't be able to challenge Daniel Garcia again for that title.
Oh
As long
yes, yes, granted, yes. And Garcia is no longer champion. AG didn't hold on to it for long, and that made out for Alec Price. And Alec Price is a fighting defending champion. He really
absolutely,
is. Um, and he proved that against Chris Bay. He proved that against
he
you
proved
know
it against. He beat Anthony Green for that title too.
he did. And AG is one of the best. He's the first ever two-time Limitless World Champion. He is defamed. He's the guy that beat MJF. He defamed and Garcia. He's done amazing things. So Alec Price deserves to be on top of that Mount Rushmore Limitless like anyone else. And it's his time to shine. He's been saying it for a while. Now it finally is. He's crushing it and beyond as well. With the hooligans, him and Becca, they're doing wonderful things over there as well.
Seeing him
So
in
I mean, we gotta just keep an eye on this kid, eyes on the prize, and just see what's next for Alec Price. Because there's gonna be a lot in store. The sky's the limit for him. Sky is
absolutely
the limit.
can't wait to see how far he grows. I think he's gonna have that title for a long time.
Now this, oh, for sure he will. I believe so too. Now after this was intermission, I myself am gonna take a quick break to say, well, why don't you tell the fans what's going on with the Wolfcast? Talk about our little plan of having some more panels and discussions with people. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? And I shall be back.
Absolutely, Versace. So, hey folks, this is Wolf here. As you know, the last time I did a Beantown Sports Wolfcast, I made a promise with friends I had from Tennessee when the Patriots played the Titans. They ended up winning that game pretty single handedly, despite getting shredded by their two backup running backs, which we talk a lot about. I want to really try when I do live Wolfcast. My plan is to do more in 2022. For now, I just want to do it exclusively for Patriots. You're gonna have me do two Wolfcasts a week. One, as we saw in the beginning of the year with VSW, if you're familiar with us, we used the Spreaker app, and it's going to be on the go radio style. I'm going to do that when I talk about not only the Patriots, but the Celtics and the Bruins too. And when football season is over, the live Wolfcast is going to be for Patriots only as of right now. But I'm going to try to expand it to two and do one Celtics and one Bruins, or maybe have a panel and combine the both of them and eventually do Red Sox if they play this season. If players aren't owners aren't fighting like they are in wrestling, they're currently locked out right now. So, anyways, my plan is our first panel. I am hoping. Please message me or please message Versace if you're a chaotic student or if you're a chaotic fan. If you hate Chase Del Monte or if you love Chase Del Monte, vice versa for JT Dunn in the unit. We want to talk about what a potentially 2022 chaotic wrestling promotion is going to be like, whether it's Chase Del Monte or if JT Dunn in the unit get control. Please come on the show. We've got to look at it from various standpoints. There are a few wrestlers that might quit or might be forced to go. Will the VSW be allowed in Chaotic next year? As that we have a lot of fun projects planned for next year. I can't wait to tell you all, but my Wolfcast going forward, I know I've been slacking, it's my apologies. You're gonna have two Wolfcasts a week, one live and one on the go, 45 minutes covering all the Boston sports teams. Maybe I cover a little bit more, just the scores, the news, the rumors once a week, and I'll recap the Patriots games live once a week. I really want to try to find opposing fans. If you're a Colts fan, hit us up. If you're a Jaguars fan, maybe if you're all elite, hit us up for the day after New Year's game. If you're a Dolphins fan, hit us up. If you're from Buffalo, we have a day after Christmas divisional show that you guys got owned by Tom TB12 just because he's not in the red, white, and blue with the Pats. Sadly, doesn't mean he. The Bills are still his bitch, just like the Bears are Aaron Rodgers' bitch. Anyways, I am ready to continue on to Limitless. I'm just talked about the future of the Wolfcast Versace. Ooh yeah. I am having a lot of fun with this. And I know Versace's on break. Am I trying to keep up with the Versace stoner or what? It is a great time at Limitless. I certainly have enjoyed myself. I start to wonder Limitless is the real reason why I became a huge indie wrestling fan like I am now. I want to give a shout out to everyone working in the backstage. Randy Carver, the owner, welcoming as an announcer. Henry Aaron doing the commentating. You have our friend Derek Simonetti doing the filming, the owner of Proving Ground. You also have Ethan Scott running the social media. I want to give a shout out to some of the students. The Antichrist, he's all a great kid. I'm looking forward to talking with him more and becoming friendly with him. We have Liz Dude being funny. He's very different outside the ring than he's in the ring. More of a goofball outside the ring, in my opinion. You also have a Mortar Time with Gail Barkley, the Israeli sensation, and Amani Chaos, one half of Higher Society, helping out. You have a lot of potential, a lot of people scouting. We talked about Chase Del Monte, owner of Chaotic, said he was scouting, but who knows? I'm ready to talk about the second half. Are you, Versace?
Woo!
Probably aiming at the medical kid. It's okay, folks.
Keeping up with the Versace stoner. Woo!
Oof, I'll admit you just hit the crap out of Wolf there, Versace.
And that's exactly what I did during the intermission. But yes, um, did you tell all our fans about all the exciting stuff we got coming up here at the VSW podcast?
Absolutely. We're going to have a lot more structure next year in 2022 for
Oh
sure.
yeah, a whole lot more structure. Some new, even some new content, potentially topics. Podcasting more talks like this, but maybe about something else. Like right now, I'm kind of.
Pop culture
I'll tell you what
podcast.
I'm doing just because I'm online doing it. But right now, I'm kind of sampling out and seeing which is better, the Whitman sampler or the Russell Stover sample pack for the holiday candies. And so far, Whitman's is winning. But that'll be for a different podcast. Well, maybe we'll do something with food. I don't know. There's a lot that can be done here at the VSW. We're not just limited to just one thing. But yes, it will be more
That
structured.
doesn't mean our focus on wrestling is only going to get better. It doesn't mean less focus on wrestling at all.
No, never.
But
And
we got to
like I
try and
said,
grow because, as you know, folks, our Twitter, my Twitter's all Boston sports and wrestling. Versace's Twitter's all wrestling for even Facebook, but my regular personal Facebook as my real name, it's not just a wolf. Like I got a lot of people who are laughs wrestling fans I haven't watched since the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression, and I feel like doing a random pop culture topic along with our fantastic shorts that we've been doing throughout the year that will bring them in once they listen to our random pop culture podcast and they see stuff like about the shorts. I've got asked about my high school reunion. That lets people to want to check out indie wrestling. It's working. It'll be
it did.
slow,
I
but
mean, we even brought your high school buddy there, Mike Panchu, to a show. He came
I
to a
know
chaotic show because we hyped up the independent scene.
absolutely. And I got a lot of people saying if they go back in my hometown, that a lot of people are gonna go this time around. I didn't get to go last time.
And that's pretty cool. And from
Hopefully
my point of view,
someday
because
I
that's
can
the
get a
whole point. That's
bus.
the
Go
whole point
on.
of what the VSW started out to do. That was to get more eyes and ears on the independent scene of New England pro wrestling. And so far, I think we've done that. And, talking a little bit about our show's program, we take a lot of footage in almost every event. We treat it like a job. We get a lot of clips, photos, stills, and a lot of just, straight
I
up
had the
shorts and
time of my
movies.
life doing it.
We go to our if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find we try to get as many of the shorts up as we can get. And on the Facebook and soon maybe on Instagram we'll be doing a BSW podcast. You'll be able to find a lot of the photography as well. And eventually I want to move everything over to our website, and every show you'll be able to go in and click, the individual link that will be to the show, and you'll have all the photography up. And this will be great for the fans and for the talent that might want the photos.
And the shorts footage so they can have a portfolio if they're trying to get themselves like a contract for higher up wrestling.
It is. I mean, professional photography costs and things cost, but I mean, we don't charge here at the PSW. We just like to enjoy getting good footage and watching wrestling and filming it and taping it. So, we get a lot of footage. And I said I put a lot of it up, but we even have more. And we will be figuring out what to do with it all and how to get it to everybody, as, 22 comes into play. But, coming back to the show, we saw a very familiar face who seems to be playing that kind of, I mean, I don't know what to call it. I mean, is it like your relief
Second
pitcher?
half opener.
Your relief pitcher? You know, but he's the common denominator, and it's always seems to be for the last few shows, or even since every show. I don't know. It's Rip Bison opening it up, and I'm a huge fan of Rip. Believe me, I love Rip. Rip roars through the crowd. It's probably why they do it. People need to get in fact right back into it, and Rip can bring the energy.
I honestly think they should have. It was a fantastic match between him and Matt Taven. They even fought outside the ring in front of us. You had Matt Taven, the Ring of one and a half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, anticipating the final battle with Mike Bennett, a famous indie legend who made it to WWE.
Both of those people combined actually are the people that trained BIG, believe it or not. But and a few other of the New England superstars out there that we might know. But I don't know what's gonna happen with Ring of Honor. They ran their last show, and that's a done deal. But we did see Taven in Limitless, and he was quite amazing in my opinion. I mean, he was very, very well put together as a wrestler. I'm saying, you got everything going. His moves were clean. Everything was clean, sleek.
He makes it look so easy when he does those high flying aerial assaults.
Yeah, like he's just on a whole different level than a lot of the wrestlers that I think we are well, not a lot of them, but some of the wrestlers that we're accustomed to seeing. But
And Rip
I was very,
old
like I
school
said, very impressed.
style bra.
I was very impressed. Rip did try to make it his style of fight, and that was gonna be the only way to beat Matt. But Taven could give it right back.
Absolutely, he can give it right back for sure. They fought in front of us. He slapped, ripped around outside of us, right in front of us. As I
Not
have,
many,
I
not
think
many
he did it.
people, not many people slap Rip around. Okay, let's get that straight. Not many people at all can slap Rip around.
Not at all.
And this guy managed to do it. And like I said, he was very, very sleek in everything he did. I'm a huge now Matt Taven fan. If I wasn't already before, I am definitely now. I wish I saw more of him when he was in New England. I wish I saw more of him in Ring of Honor.
But I cannot wait to go on any show that he's advertised in from now on.
Oh yes, it was definitely a great match. Rip did get the victory. Um,
Absolutely, which is a big victory for Rip.
It's a big
Uh,
victory for Rip, but he did what I told you needed to be done, and that was to turn into a Rip style fight. If it was gonna be a straight wrestling fight, I don't think it would have happened.
he felt
He
like he had the home field advantage over Matt Taven, and it also helped that he had a lot of butterflies in his stomach moving to that final potential final Ring of Honor show, which has been his home.
Oh yeah, and it has Rip is really proven himself. He's had some really tough matches this year. I feel tougher than other years, and he's really came through with some really big victories.
The only time he didn't come out through was that Vacation Land Cup quarterfinal against AC Romero.
There was a lot of I think a lot of upsets in that whole tournament that took place. But for the most part, he has really proven himself to be very, you know, more than just what he used to be. And I love seeing it. I love seeing what he's doing with his own promotion and grind. I love seeing it all. And it's only gonna get more. And what's he gonna do for Limitless? Will he actually I think soon he's gonna get himself a Limitless World Title.
I think so too. I'm surprised it hasn't really happened yet, to be honest.
I don't think he's. I mean, I think he's been proving himself to win that title. I mean, at least get the shot. And when he does, I think he's. I don't know. Eventually, he might see gold around Rip's waist.
I think you will see it too. I'm surprised that hasn't happened, but the closest thing he did face Warhorse for the IWTV Championship in one of the last Limitless shows before the pandemic, I believe.
He did. That was an awesome matchup, and he did go to the. And he did face Alec Price, did he not, before he was champion, at the H2O Center in Jersey?
Oh, I know it.
So, like I said, it's only going to be up for Rib Bison. The next match, though, let's move on, shall we?
Absolutely Versace. And it is it's the trios match, right?
It was.
Between the art of Ava Everett alongside with the Smoke Show, Ricky Smokes and the Dime Piece Aaron Rourke versus the team of the Circus Ninjas Samurai Nolo Katato in the main event of ringleader Myas and Jay Lion. Always a pleasure seeing those two in the ring.
They really are. We love seeing the main event, and, now with them in the trios, it's been really fun. And, they're always high flying, they're always doing crazy moves, and they're just really
They
nice
got
people
the boot
after.
back.
They're very appreciative of the fan base.
Just don't take Jay Lion's steak from him.
Never do that. But we've become friends with some of the other people too. Ricky Smokes, the Smoke Show. This
Absolutely.
kid's
And you
been
got
killing it. This
Mark
kid's
who
been killing
from
it. NCW, chaotic, limitless. Now, Ava Everett. Not that you can ever get her to say a nice thing to you.
uh-huh.
I
Well,
think
to be
she.
honest with you, when they were selling merch, they got into a fight with the main event and stuff right when fans were buying merch. And then I was in line, believe it or not, with Mortar, Amani Chaos, and Gail Barclay to get concessions, not concessions to the bartender. They were getting on alcoholic beverages, so was I, because we had a long drive ahead of us. And Ava was buying like, get out of the way, and then I'm like, Love Dog's in there. You want to go say hi to him? And she's like, shut up.
She told you. Um, yeah, not a fan of Love Doug. She is. That she's just Ava is something. She's in chaotic. You see how she is with the running social media. Not too much different of how she is in
Nope.
Limitless. Only place you'll catch her maybe crack a smile is at NCW, but
I
that's
think
about
she was
it.
so upset about not getting rid of Love Dog that she created her own stable.
Art is more than a stable. It's a way of life. I mean, you got the dime piece, Aaron Rourke. This kid is great.
I
Okay,
heard he moved to Massachusetts as he was a student of Creative Pro.
he has
Very
done. He
good.
is. He's done amazing wrestling in both chaotic and where I first found him was Beyond Wrestling.
And he made appearances on AEW Dark too.
He has, and you have Ava Taker, whatever you want to call her. She's very,
Icon or
very.
whatever. She's not as super, super angry like she used to be, but she's still miserable.
Oh, she is, but I mean, she is a very talented wrestler. One of New England's best women. I'm surprised, honestly, that she's not working at a major company. I'm surprised WWE hasn't picked her up. I mean, we saw her on WWE television before, if you remember that one time,
Eric Rowan and the Spider.
they haven't picked her up. AEW hasn't picked her up. Neither has Impact. I am surprised, but she will be. She is one of the best, and that's Ava Everett. And one of the new and upcoming greats. Like you call him a
He
mix
is
of
a
Sammy
rider.
Guevara and like a little bit of MJF.
He's like
Ricky
the
Smokes.
MJF, Sammy Guevara, every young wrestler who wanted maybe a young 1, 2, 3 kid before he was X Pac.
It's kind of funny if you look at him and the way he's kind of, I don't know, moved on. And wrestling. I mean, I was watching video the other day of his like one of his characters, and he was like Detective Ricky Archer, and he was doing some detective work, and it was kind of just funny. Now he's like, he started hanging out with the big boys down in NC Dub. He dropped that Archer name.
He used to team up with Pre-Mortar when he was CJ Cruz too.
Yep, yep. Um, you know, these guys are all though, going to be the future of, not just what New England wrestling is, but wrestling in itself. They are going to get picked up. They are going to move on. They have the right stuff. They have the movesets. They have the charisma. They have the mic skills. They have it all. These people
Ricky
will be the future.
was
And, they delivered. All these teams delivered. Main event, too. They've been on Dark. They've been on, TV.
I really
Great.
want to see a main event face guys like the Young Bucks or Lucha Brothers. Imagine
Oh,
how
my God. Them versus the Lucha Brothers would be, a dream
a
match of
party.
mine. A complete dream match of mine.
Always appreciate with us. Ring leader Midas is a great man. So is the Lion too. Like I really want to see them get picked up by AEW so
Oh,
bad.
I think eventually they will. I mean, tag teams is what AEW does best.
I can't say I'm ready to go.
WWE is really not looking for any more independence. So I mean, you can kiss that kind of like
They
realm
killed
goodbye.
it, killed their gimmick. So why would they?
For the independents, it's better. For WWE, it's probably honestly the funny thing is it's probably a money thing. Vince is probably sick of having to buy gimmicks. Every time he has to pick up an independent star, he has to get a name out for them. Okay? When he gets the name, he has to file a trademark, but it's not their original name. He did one for, I believe, Daniel Garcia at one point. Let me see if I can find it. I believe.
All right, Versace.
I believe, yes. See, they booked him as Dante Rios.
Well, what kind of name is that?
And here's the funny thing. Back in January 7th of 2019, WWE filed the trademark for Dante Rios, the name. So they had to pay for this name, Dante Rios. Now, Garcia doesn't go by that name, he goes by Daniel Garcia. But when he was on 205 Live, he was also under Danny Garcia. And then they wanted to change his name. They paid for this. They never ended up using it, apparently.
Oh wow, that I didn't know, Versace.
Well, Danny had an injury in 2019 when him and Blackwood were driving back to Buffalo from an IW from an independent show in Montreal. They actually got into a car accident. Garcia broke some legs. It wasn't really too good. Okay. Garcia Garcia was in a bad place. But, he came back from all of that. He came back from all of that.
Really fast, it seems, because it doesn't look like that happened.
No, but I mean, I'm looking at Daniel Garcia's Twitter right now from the day. It says, I may have two broken legs, but I promise I've never been filled with more love, affection, empathy than I am today, minus setbacks, still more work to do. And, that says 2019. You know, You got people like Sign Guy wishing him, best of luck, and Puff and his other friends and all this. Even wow, that's
Yeah.
kind of funny. You know who wished him good, like feel better?
Who?
Hook.
Hook. Hook's the man, Versace. Oh,
Yeah. Now this kid's all blown up.
he's like the Dogecoin of wrestling.
He is. But yeah. So I mean, like I said, Garcia's come a huge long way since that minor setback. But yes, what I'm saying is WWE files trademarks for names. They file the trademark for that name, and it never panned out. Okay. So I'm sure they was he's done it with other stars as well. They don't pan out. What are you supposed to do? He's
Oh, I
probably
know.
like, forget all this. I'm not gonna buy any more names. Let's just make people from scratch and go from there. It's a pure money thing, and it's a control thing too.
Yeah, because you don't got a lot to say. You can't even have your own Twitch channel in WWE.
No, and we saw some temper tantrums by Ricky Smokes. It was kind of funny. It was kind of He was actually kind of comedic.
Oh, very. But the funny part is, it was him that is carrying this art stable. Sooner or later, Ava's gonna turn on him when she gets jealous of Smokes.
Oh yeah, or when she's had enough of him. I mean, but it was a very interesting matchup. I thought what did you think of the ending?
I thought it was a very fast paced. It sounded like the Circus Ninjas was gonna get the victory until Ricky Smokes came in at the right place at the right time to get the pinfalls to cover it when he didn't do any of the work.
And I think that that's just another victory for them. It's another notch on Ricky Smoke's belt, and I think it's just gonna be another kid that's gonna be going towards the future of the wrestling industry.
Absolutely, it is.
And that brings us, I believe, to what the main event of the evening.
No, one more. The 31-second challenge.
Oh yeah, that's right, Brad Cash. Mind you, I was expecting this match actually to open the show.
I knew it wouldn't open the show. It was more meant for a filler match. I'm not surprised it was a second to last match because answering his open challenge was Dango.
Well,
Because
that's the
Brad was
thing.
a lot different
Dirty
than
Dango
that whole.
answered the challenge, and the challenge was simple. Well, he insulted Dirty Dango for a little bit. He talked about how he is what his last match with Jericho or something.
Yeah, he mentioned that he's gonna embarrass him just like he embarrassed Jericho. He's a fluke just like his match at Jericho at WrestleMania 29. And he mentioned Paul McCannon was in the stands, Versace. He was that guy who could have gone further in SmackDown in 2006 when he was the GM executive, network executive to Teddy Long. But they scrapped him just like they scrapped the Muhammad Hassan gimmick at the time for
Well,
UP.
yeah, that had to be scrapped. But Fandango's been in WWE for quite some time before he was let go.
His only memorable moment was beating Jericho in his debut match at WrestleMania 29 when there was so many rematches.
But I'm just saying he's been in WWE for what, 8 years, 9 years he was in?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, and really the only thing I know him for is his tag team run with Tyler Breeze's Breezango.
That was really good chemistry. Those guys could have should have gotten a lot bigger of a push.
They should have. They should have actually just both went on the indie scene together and pushed it. But nevertheless, we got Dirty Dango back on the scene. He's been in Maine. He's been in Chaotic. In Chaotic, he's playing a little bit different of a role. In Maine, he is favorited again. And the challenge was simple. You had to do a push up, name a capital of a state. So, you
And of
know,
course, Brad mentioned Boston,
of course, Boston, whatever they would be. But, what did he get? I believe 22?
something like that.
Something
21.
like that. It was quite impressive. And then it was Dango's turn, and he did one. And he said the capital of Maine.
Augusta.
He did two.
Like,
And it was Augusta again. He did three. Augusta. And continued just with Augusta. Really infuriating and insulting Brad Cashew's, um, intelligence. Brad attacked him.
he usually doesn't question people's intelligence when we're chaotic.
No, he does not. He is a fan favorite in Chaotic. He is the All American kind of boy, kind of almost like a Bob Backlund style of wrestler. And in Beyond, in Limitless, they hate him. They don't understand him. A lot of the main fans, I don't believe Boston fans. But he did
Absolutely.
make, like I said, he did
It's
make the.
two
That was
things
the other.
that they're known for is lobsters and what else did he say Maine was known for?
Not really sure, but
But he called them ungrateful hicks, I believe.
that was the other part of the challenge. The person that answered it had to be from Maine. Now, a couple fans tried to get involved and he just insulted them, but Dirty Dango is from Maine.
Absolutely carrying the Maine flag when he came in.
Yep. So, I mean, the pride of Maine, the pride of Portland is what they call him, is they not? I think they call him the pride of Portland. So,
Something like that.
that was a pretty exciting event. Dirty Dango was scheduled. So, he fulfilled that. We saw him. Didn't really have to have another match. He's not really in any storylines with um, anybody at the moment.
Yeah, not that I know of.
No, so I mean, it worked out fine. And honestly, I thought it was a really, really, it was a fun way to work ourselves into the main event of the evening, which in my case was a total shock. Not that it was not a good match to be a main event, it just was very surprising because I was expecting the championship match or the champion to be fighting. But this match had story. This match had chemistry. The match
Absolutely.
had a lot of different things.
This was a rubber match too, Versace. Not only was it just a regular match, it was a best 2 out of 3 falls match.
It was.
Yeah,
And also, we've seen these two tag teams fight before. We saw them, and it ended in some controversy a little bit with a JD Drake kiss to Danger Kid.
it
And
all
now we see
started.
the
It was very quick how they got the first fall of the match.
that was very quick, and also it kind of set the tone. I didn't know what was gonna happen. If it was gonna be a quick 1, 2, 3 or what was gonna take place. The workhorsemen are very well put together, as a tag team.
Of course.
So is an MSP. These two are, what tag teams are about. And I love seeing JD Drake tag up.
Oh, I know it.
But
Hey, Henry's
MSP,
really good too.
MSP is, Maine's favorite tag team, I believe.
Oh, I know.
I honestly, I've never seen them play. I've only seen them play heel in one promotion, and that's when I went to Wrestler's Laboratory. They were the bad guy for one of the matches, or two of the matches. I can't remember, but they were being booed. And that was it. No matter where else I've seen these guys, whether it's been, pre Vibe when they were with Alexander Lee and NCW, when Chaotic, and even beyond when they came to Please Come Back, and all this to now the Vibe and their whole new, they've broken out of their shells. They're very comfortable in who they are. JD Drake even mentioned it. You can identify whatever the hell you want to identify as. When you're in this ring, you guys are champions. And that's true. MSP are champions in this industry, at life. They're two great individuals that care a hell of a lot about this business and care a hell of a lot about the people in it. And they go out of their way to make sure everything is cool with it. There's definitely somebody you want on your side. There's definitely somebody you want to be cool with and friendly with, if you're in the industry. But also, it's someone that you want to work and look and strive to be like,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're an amazing tag team.
Big time.
And they got the second, they got a pin right after that, and not right after, a little whiles after that.
Like
And
the
I,
whole move sets was amazing. There was a lot of somersaults from Drake and Henry onto MSP, but MSP really got their move sets going, got their top rope maneuvers going.
yep, and I thought it was just one of those, great things that took place. Like I said, sometimes tag matches. Well, you know me, I'm a big tag team fan.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
sometimes, the tags are just thrown together. These are two very established teams. Work wasn't a unit together. They work well. MSP is legendary tag team status. They're up there. If I had to talk, about, New England tag teams, what top two, whatever, it's gonna be, it's gonna be
MSP.
MSP, and it's
Oh,
gonna be, Middlesex Express. These are two long-standing, work many promotions. Everybody knows them. Very notable names for the New England area.
oh yeah, big time.
Like I said, whether it's NCW, Chaotic, Limitless, Beyond, they always deliver. I hope Randy Carver, is watching,
Well, me
because
too.
these tag teams deserve a belt. I don't know how many times people got to tell them that. The fans, the wrestlers, the managers. But he has to introduce something for these tag team people. I get it. They lost that challenge, but where's Daniel Garcia now? Where's Blackwood? We're not gonna see him until Wrestleville, so forget about that. Let's do a new challenge, see if what you can get.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, now I kind of see why this match closed out the evening. I mean, I think it was kind of a big finale. I think it was very told the story. These guys all have been battling for quite some time, at least since the last time we were there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, very
And
true, Versace.
were you surprised by the outcome?
Actually not. I knew MSP was gonna take it this time around because they just lost to the Workhorsemen. I think at the anniversary show.
Yep.
And if they're gonna try and make a case 2022 for tag team titles, MSP had to finish the job and take care of business, and they did just that.
They did do just that, and it was what's his name, Mark Anthony, Henry Anthony,
Yeah, Anthony Henry.
Anthony Henry. Sorry, I'm gonna screw it up like 3 times. Anthony Henry, that was actually kissed aggro this time, rather than JD Drake kissing Danger Kid. Aggro was head over heels. He wanted one more kiss. There was just some respect, and like I said, JD Drake made his, little speech. Doesn't matter, what you guys identify as, or, whatever you want to do. When you're in this ring, you're identified as a champion. And, I believe that for them. They are. MSP is champions, Workhorsemen champions, both those teams could chant that all night long because, they're great tag team wrestling. And Randy Carver Jr. puts on another
Oh, yeah.
great independent wrestling show.
Big time.
Um, so I can't really wait to see what he does with Rustival, how he works that in. What is this January show going to look like? I still do also kind of wish they were running a road
I do too, especially this time of year.
in between the
The
live shows. Just run a road so we can kind of see the stories
Limitless
prevail.
had that, it would really thrive right now. That way you
Especially
can
with
build
yeah,
story.
especially with the cold weather and everything, and just kind of let the stories prevail, gain more traction. You don't have to do it by the month, but I mean that's obviously up to them. I understand taping's hard. It takes a lot of coordination. They would have to take time out of their weekend when some of their guys are working other shows, and it's hard to get everybody together again now. It's not like pandemic lockdown time when everybody was home. So I do hope to see it though. I do. I really do. I did see Beyond's gonna be launching a new promotion, and that's gonna be kind of like the Florida Championship Wrestling of New England's Beyond Wrestling. It's like Beyond's like WWE, and this new promotion is like Florida State. They're gonna, like NXT was in the beginning, and they're gonna kind of like put all the students and newcomers through it. So that should be something kind of interesting. We might see even more some of the Limitless Superstars wrestling on that. So we have a lot of things to look kind of forward to, I think. And
For
also with the
22.
Restival, like I said, Limitless having their own show. We got some great matches lined up, they said. And the title matches, championship match, I believe, has already been said, has it not? Disable. Disable.
Yeah, I'm here.
Has that title match been set for Restival?
I believe it has between Alec Price and JD Drake.
Yep, for the first time, that's what we were saying, and it's a singles match, so that's going to be something very interesting. There's some other matches being added, so definitely
Mark
gonna try.
Slamovich, Rip Bison.
That's going to be insane too. Rip's going to be in for a very ruthless, aggressive match. We've seen Masha what she can do. We've seen Rip what she can do. He can do. So a lot of things coming with that. I suggest if you can check it out. I believe if not, it's going to be on IWTV. Watch that. You're not gonna want to miss it. If you're a fan of wrestling, you gotta be a fan of this. You gotta show a little support here.
Absolute.
These people might not always support us and like us, but at the end of the day, we gotta show support and like them because our favorite wrestlers work for them. Our favorite wrestler is a part of it, and that's at the end of the day who we support. The wrestlers, the talent, the
And
guys
this
and
is a
girls that
fun
make the magic
concept.
show happen. Exactly. So we'll do our best to get to all these shows and really kickstart the new year off right here at the VSW. But I thank you, everybody, for listening to us. It's getting a little late here on the East Coast. I'm getting a little tired. I think the Sailwolf was getting a little tired as he wasn't answering
Very
quite
tired,
time.
Versace.
And with that, I am going to say Versace Stoner out.
Disable.
Have a good night, folks. And check out soon with our chaotic preview.
Woohoo.